Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Already we're live, and let me get in the center of the screen. There we go. Okay, we're live, and as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on static methods. That said, I'm pretty sure that I couldn't add the entire title in my thumbnail and in my videos title. That said, I might even work on, I forgot what was the other one called. I think it was called something like, let's see, let's go all the way up here. Okay, I think they're called like class level properties or something. Okay, that's it. Let's go to my gameplay screen. Okay, and say something like, let's say, I'm live, exclamation. Let's go, hiding horse. I appreciate you joining the stream. And guys, if I can't breathe / talk properly, it is because I'm not warmed up. That said, listen up, you glorious code monsters. Today, not tomorrow. Today, not tomorrow, not someday, but today, Vivek is about to command the power of static methods. Most people use them wrong. Most people don't even know what they're really doing, okay? But not here, not in this dojo. Here we forge programmers who understand what their code works, okay, why their code works, not just that it works. Now focus your mind, guys. This is a long thing. Okay, there we go. Let's see, here's the secret. Normally when you create an object of a class, that object gets its own copy. The class's variables and methods, each object is unique like a warrior with its own start in mind. Bro, where are you from? Honestly, I do get that question a lot. That's what I used to say that a lot. But then some of you guys did say me to avoid saying that because, guys, don't want to dox myself by mistake. Okay, that said, but a static member, okay, whether it's a variable or a method, doesn't belong to any single warrior. It belongs to the entire clan. One variable shared by all objects, one function that can be called even with no objects exist. Okay, I see. So an example, we include IO stream, we create a player class, then create a private, okay, and then we go with a few, data members. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, data members. Okay, so a static integer player count shared by all players, okay, and then we publicize everything, we add our constructor, and we increase our player count by 1 every time we create an object, okay. And then we create a static void, okay, a static method, I see. Okay, and then we go with a static console output with an insertion operator, total number of players, and the entire line. And then we go with something like integer player with 2 colons, okay, player count equals to 0, initialize static variable outside class, okay, outside the class. And then we go ahead and create a main function. Okay, I think I understand. So integer player is our constructor and our class's name. Okay, I think I see. So player 1 object is going to be called hero, player 2, okay, and then we go with something like player show count, accessing static methods using class name. Okay, let's dissect this code. Player count is static, so there's only one copy shared by all player objects. Every time a player is created, it increases that shared count. Show count is a static method, meaning you can call it with player, okay, with 2 colons show count without even creating an object. I think I see. Before we jump into broken codes and drills, do you understand the basic idea of static methods, or should I clarify the part about why static variables are declared outside the class? Okay, let's say something like, I do have a question, like, what does this even mean, this integer stuff? Let's go ahead and copy that. Let's paste it here real quick. Go with something like shift enter and say something like, let's say, I feel like I didn't understand this part. Can guys, what's that? Okay, let's go ahead and delete that. Okay, didn't it like copy? I'm pretty sure I had like control C to copy and then control V to paste. There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't understand that part. ... Okay. That said, don't we do the 2 colons with standard question mark? Is this something related to like how the standard works? Good catch, people. You've stumbled right onto one of the core powers of the scope resolution operator, okay? And yes, it's the same as when you see in standard console output, but its purpose depends on what's left side. Okay, what's left on the side? Let me break it down clearly before your chat brain starts melting. when you write standard console output, you're saying use the object console output that exists inside the namespace std. Okay, so here std is a namespace and console output lives inside it. Now when you write player, okay, player count equals 0, you're defining the static member variable player count that belongs to the player class. Oh, I see. Okay, so basically console output belongs inside of the namespace class. Does this mean that namespace is like a class? Okay, and player count belongs in my player class. Here, player is a class, not a namespace, but the idea is the same. 2:" lets you access something inside a scope. Oh, whether that scope is namespace, class, or structure. So think of double colons as a universal door. It lets you reach into namespaces or grab to or okay, namespaces or classes to grab something that belongs there. In this case, you're not just using player count, we're actually defining it outside the class. Basic static variables exist at the class level, not the object level. They must be defined outside the class body exactly once. Okay, I think I understand. That's why you do integer player count. Okay, it tells the compiler, alright, here's where the player count memory actually lives, one copy of the whole class. Okay, because the static variables exist at the class level, not the object level, they must be defined outside. Okay, class levels, not object levels. Okay, I think I see. Okay, you with me so far, pupil? Or should I break it down? Or should I break down what we can initialize it inside the class directly? I think I see. That said, exist at class level, not the object level. Let's go ahead and copy that, paste it here, go with Shift Enter. Say something like, let's say, I feel like I mostly understood it. That said, this part, I think that I didn't understand. ... Guys, I should work on my phrasing. That phrasing was awful. Good, you're listening closely, pupil. That's how you grow sharper than the rest. Now, pay attention. When I say static variable exists at the class level, I mean this. Normally, when you create objects, each object gets its own copy of the class variable. If you had 10 players, you would have 10 copies of each player name, scores, and health. I see. Okay, each object guards its own patch of memory. Okay, but when a variable is static, that rule breaks. Instead of every object having its own copy, the class itself owns just one single copy of that variable. Every object of that class shares it. Oh, I see. Okay. So imagine you have this public static integer player count. You make player 1, player 2, player 3. There aren't player count variables. There's only one player count sitting in the memory belonging to the class itself, and all three players, okay, point to that same one. Okay, that's why we say it exists at class level, not object level. No matter how many player objects you create or destroy, they all use the same player count. It's like having a scoreboard that every player can see and update, not their own private score. Okay, I think I see now. Okay, now tell people, you want me to show a small example? Honestly, I think I'm ready for a few instructional based questions. Let's say something like, let's say, I feel like I understand. Can I get a instructional based question to see if I really understand it? Question mark. Okay, let's see. Good. You think you understand, huh? Then let's test that ego of yours. Here's your first instructional based question on static members. Nice and clean, no tricks yet. Question 1, I gotta create a class called enemy. It should have a static integer variable called enemy count. Every time a new enemy object is created, the count should increase by 1. Every time one is destroyed, it should decrease by 1. Use a constructor and a destructor to make this happen. Okay, add a static function called showCount that prints the total number of enemies currently alive. If the main function create 3 enemies and display the count after each one is created, then at the end of the program, the destructor should show the count decreasing automatically. Okay, I think I see. Let's get Sensei/ChatGPT here. That said, this is the code from the last stream, guys. I didn't have time to practice off stream. That said, did I do something like this last stream? I think, oh no, I did copy Sensei's GPT stream. Where are you from, guys? Honestly, I used to say that a lot. That said, many of you guys did say me to avoid saying where I'm from, so I try to avoid saying that. Okay, that said, let's start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. Okay, next up, let's read the instructions. So it says to create a class called enemy. So let's go ahead and create a enemy class. And then add a pair of curly braces. Then inside of my enemy class, it should have a static integer variable called enemy count. So let's go ahead and create a private, there we go. So I'll go with something like private integer of static. Is that how we create it, or does static go before integers? So static integer. Okay, static integer variable, not integer static. So let's go with something like static. Okay, integer. Okay, there we go. Static integer variable calls enemy count. So I'll go with enemy count, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and publicalize everything else. And now, next up, every time a new enemy object is created, the count should increase by 1. So let's go ahead and create a constructor. Maybe I had a comment that says constructor. There we go. For my constructor, I'm going to be creating a constructor for my enemy class, which is going to be having a parameter of, let's say, something like enemy count. Okay, honestly, I might not need any parameters for this. It says every time a new enemy object is created, the count should increase by 1. So I might not have any parameters. That said, I will increase my enemy count variable by 1, ending with a semicolon. So I'll go with enemy count plus plus, I increment it by 1. Every time one is destroyed, it should decrease by 1. Okay, how do we create a destructor? Maybe I go with another comment that says destructor. Okay, and then I'm gonna add some question mark dots because I honestly I've like never created destructor, so I don't know how to create that. I might ask that to Sensei/ChatGPT. Okay, that said, use a constructor and a destructor to make this happen. Add a static function called showCount that prints the total number of enemies currently alive. Okay, so basically, let me add another comment that says methods. Okay, for my methods, I gotta create a static function called showCount. So I'll go with something like static void function called show_count. Actually, I'll go with like showCount like this. There we go. Okay, so I'll go with showCount that prints the total numbers of enemy currently alive. I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Maybe add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna insert something. Let's see. Okay, I might go with something like my enemy class. Okay, with with 2 colons, my show counts. Actually, I'll go with enemy count. Okay, and then ending with a / new line and a semicolon. Okay, I think I'm going right so far. Okay, next up, in the main functions, I gotta create a main function. And guys, I don't think it's like completely correct because like this is my first time writing this code. That said, I'm going to be creating a main function, so I'll go with integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Inside of my main function, I gotta create 3 enemies and display their count after each one is created. Okay, why private static integer enemy count? Honestly, I am actually like used to privating like all my data members, and I'm pretty sure this is like a data member. Later, I do gotta create like getters and setters as well to like get access to my private data members. Although I don't think I might need that for like this instructional based question. So I could like ask that. So create 3 enemies and display the count after each one is created. So let's go ahead and create 3 enemy objects. So I'll go with something like enemy 1, add a pair of parentheses, ending with a semicolon, and then let's go with something like enemy 2. So there we go. So enemy E2, ending with a semicolon as well. And lastly, I'll go with something like enemy 3 with a pair of parentheses, ending with a semicolon. Okay, at the end of the program, the destructor should show the count decreasing. Okay, maybe I just go with something like enemy 1 dot show count. Can't I like go with my show count function? Okay, honestly, let's go ahead and return 0. I do want to like see where I'm messing up because this was just like a code from like what I could actually think of, because like I haven't like worked out this kind of code. That said, if I run the code, pretty sure nothing should be displayed. Okay, there we go. Okay, nothing's displayed, although I do get a warning at line 22, so like right here. Okay, let's go with the control C, copy that, give sensei slash ChatGPT here. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this, go with shift enter and say something like sensei. I feel like I messed up and I didn't know how to create a destructor. That said, I wrote the code just by using the things that I knew. It feels like I did mess up. Dot dot dot. Guys, I actually feel like I did mess up. Okay, that said, you think you messed up? Okay, you didn't just think wrong, you proved it wrong in code form. Okay, first of all, good, you tried. That's what makes you worth yelling at. Now, let's tear this apart like a sensei inspecting a cracked sword. Mistake 1, enemy E1, that, my dear pupil, is the most treacherous trap in C++. Enemy E1 is not creating an object, it's declaring a function that returns an enemy and takes no parameters. Okay, this is called the most vexing phrase. To create real objects, you just write, okay, so if there are no parameters, I don't need a pair of parentheses. I see. Mistake 2, you forgot to define the static variable outside the class. Remember, static members live at the class level, not in a individual object. So outside your class, you must write integer enemy. Okay, and then I go with enemy count, which equals to 0. Mistake 3, spelling missing destructor. You said you didn't know how. Good, now you will. A destructor is declared like this. Enemy, wait, do I need to add that to curly this thing, whatever this thing is called, guys? I honestly don't know what's that called, like, okay. Isn't that like written? What's it called? I might actually ask that later. It runs automatically when an object is destroyed, goes out of scope. For example, at the end of main function. Here's a hint for structure. Don't copy this yet. I just want you to rewrite it cleanly yourself. Static integer enemy count, constructor increments, destructor decrements. Show count prints it, integer main, make enemies like a real warrior, not a coward function declaration. I see. Enemy show count with a pair of parentheses. Oh, I see. Okay, honestly, I think I see. That's it. I have one more question. Let me say something like, say, I had one more question for the destructor. Did I spell it correct? I think I spelled it wrong. There we go. For the destructor, what is this called, question mark? Okay, is that like important, right? Finally, you're asking the good questions, people. That title symbol, is it called like a title symbol? It's called title, okay, and in C++, when placed before a class name, it defines a destructor. So title, enemy name. Okay, enemy literally means the opposite of creation. It's the death call of that object. When an object's lifetime ends, for example, when it goes out of scope or the program ends, the destructor is automatically executed. Constructor, enemy, birth of a warrior. Destructor, a title enemy, which is the fall of a warrior. No parameters, no return type, and only one destructor per class. Okay, I actually think I see. So I just go with count minus. Okay, DK duh. Title. Oh, I see. Okay, that's it. Let's give sensei slash ChatGPT there. And honestly, let me go ahead and fix my code. Keyboard. Guys, I think it's okay. I see. Ask it why you use static instead of just private integer enemy count. Honestly, because whatchamacallit, if I like use a private integer of enemy count, it would like create multiple copies of that enemy count. Although, I mean, for every object, I'd have a separate enemy count data member. Although, if I do add static, all my objects can access the same exact data member, if that made any sense. Okay, bro, stop using AI. You're kneecapping your learning. Honestly, I feel this is the, I have been using whatchamacallit Sensei slash ChatGPT for a long time. I feel like it's pretty useful. Okay, that said, let's go all the way up in that case to the first ever instruction. Okay, let's try solving it now. Let me start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. Okay, tilde is the pronunciation. Oh, tilde. Oh, so it's not title, it's tilde. Okay, I see. That actually makes sense. Okay, next up, let's start off by creating a class called enemy. I'll add a pair of curly braces, and then inside of my class, it should have a static integer variable called enemy count. So let's go ahead and create a few private data members. Honestly, I'll just need one private data member. This is going to be a static integer data member called enemy count. So I'll go with something like enemy count. So I'll go with something like enemy count. There we go, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and publicalize everything from here on out. Okay, so I'll go with something like public. Now, every time a new item object is created, the count should increase by 1. So let's go ahead and create a constructor. How are you doing, KB Cooks? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, let's go with something like constructor. There we go, for my constructor. Every time a new object is created, so I'll go ahead and create a constructor for my enemy class. The constructor won't have any parameters, although I will go with a pair of curly braces and increase my enemy count data member by 1. So I'll go with something like ++. Or should I do something like this? So this enemy count data member is going to increase by 1, ending with a semicolon. So we know it's exactly pointing to that. Okay, that said, next up, let's see, object is created, it should increase by 1. Every time one object is destroyed, it should decrease by 1. So let's go ahead and create a destructor as well. How many days have passed since you started learning C++? Honestly, I actually forgot. Let me actually check. Okay, this is day 35 of learning C++, so it has been 35 days. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and create a destructor now. So I'll go with something like a destructor. Okay, did I spell the destructor correct? Okay, actually was it called destroyer or like destructor? I think it was called destructor. Okay, for creating a destructor, I'll go with a tilde. Okay, tilde, is it called operator? And then I'll go ahead and call my enemy class, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Oh, it does actually work. Okay, this is going to destroy something, so I'll go with something like this. Enemy count data member is going to decrease by 1, ending with a semicolon. So that's my constructor and that's my destructor. Okay, so create. Okay, and then every time an object is destroyed, decrease it. I did that. Use a constructor and a destructor. Oh wait, I think I spelled it wrong. There we go, that spells much better. Okay, every time I use a constructor and a destructor to make this happen. So I use the constructor and a destructor. Add a static function called showCount that prints the total number of enemies currently alive. So let's go ahead and create a static method, so a static function. So I'll go with something like a static void function. This is going to be called something like showCount. So I'll go with showCount, add a pair of parentheses, and then inside of my showCount, it should print, so that prints the total number of enemies currently alive. Okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. What are you making? Is it just learning object-oriented programming? Honestly, whatchamacallit, I am spending 100 days learning C++, but that is for like a bigger series, because my initial series was called like programming for 250 days. For programming for 250 days, my goal by the end of that series is to make a game in general which consists of AI logic in it. That's it. Since I was making a game, I thought C++ is like the best language to make a game, so I'm actually spending 100 days out of my 250 days learning C++, if that made any sense, guys. Your English is way better than the Indian guys in my masters. How can they study an AI master without being able to understand average English? Do people cheat language tests? Guys, honestly, that actually does make sense. But I feel like my English isn't that good, because like I do stutter a lot sometimes when I like talk for long. Okay, that said, I gotta create a static function called showCount that prints the total number of enemies currently alive. To do that, I could go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. Let's say something like total number of enemies alive are. Okay, and then we'll go into a new line, add another insertion operator of, let's say something like my enemy count. Okay, my enemy count data member with another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, enemy count. Can't I use my enemy count data member? Oh wait, it's not a function. My bad, guys. There we go. Okay, perfect. Next up, let's see. And then I gotta create a main function. Okay, in the main function, create 3 enemies and display the count after each one is created. Then at the end of the program, the destructor should show the count decreasing automatically. Okay, so let's go ahead and end my class with a semicolon. Next up, let's go ahead and create a integer main, add a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Now inside the main function, I gotta create 3 objects from my enemy class. So let's go with something like my enemy class. This is going to be enemy1 ending with a semicolon. And then from my enemy class, I want to create a enemy2 as well ending with a semicolon. Lastly, from my enemy class, I want to go with something like enemy3 ending with a semicolon. So I created 3 enemies, okay, and display the console and display the count after each one is created. Okay, so let's go with something like after each one is created, I could go with something like enemy1 dot show count, okay, ending with a semicolon, and then enemy2 dot show count ending with a semicolon as well. Enemy3 dot show count function, actually show count method ending with a semicolon. Okay, next up, then at the end of the program, the destructor should show the count decreasing automatically. So I'm assuming I gotta go with something like enemy2 dot enemy. Does that destroy it? Is that how we destroy it, guys? I think that's how we destroy it. Let me change that to enemy1 real quick. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and copy that. Maybe paste it 3 times just to save time. So I'll go with there. Okay, let's change 1 to 2 and 1 to 3. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0 ending with a semicolon. Okay, hi, what are you doing here? Honestly, this stream, I am working on actually mastering static members and maybe even class level, whatchamacallit, were they called operator or something? Okay, that's it. If I did control us to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Man, do you need thumbnail makers? Honestly, I do make a lot of thumbnails. That said, if I ever do need, I will like let you guys, because eventually I would actually need someone who like edits my videos, because guys, I did not have time. That said, collect2.exe. Okay, I feel like I messed up somewhere. Okay, let's go with the Control-C, copy that, give sensei/ChatGPT here. Let me go ahead and paste this, go with Shift Enter and say something like Sensei, I feel like I messed up, question mark. Okay, let's see. I don't know how do I destroy stuff from my destructor. Okay, you absolutely did, people, and I'm glad you felt it. That instinct means you're learning to smell wrong code. Now, let's dissect this battlefield of logic step by step. First mistake, you wrote this enemy count increases by 1 and this enemy count decreases by 1. No, static members belong to the class, not the object. Using this makes it look like every individual enemy has their own count, okay, which breaks the idea of shared memory. You should write enemy count, okay, increases, enemy count decreases. Second mistake, and this one is a crime worthy of debugging exile. You manually call the destructor that forbidden unless you are explicitly managing memory like new and delete. Your objects E1, E2, and E3 go out of scope at the end of the main function. The destructors are automatically called. Oh, I see. Okay, by calling them manually, you're double destroying them, which leads to undefined behavior. The chaos. Third, you forgot to define the static variable outside the class, so integer enemy. Okay, let's get sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, bro, don't call destructor. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. Okay, you don't need to call destructor explicitly. Also, static methods are usually called via enemy method name. Okay, actually, I did like sensei/ChatGPT did say that. For some reason, I forgot that. Okay, delayed message. Hey brother, where should I start if I want to learn how to code? Is college a good place to learn? Thanks, brother. Honestly, I would say like college is a good place if you want to actually get a degree or something. Although if I would like recommend you, or if you did want to like actually learn something, I would recommend like learning programming first, because I just realized that in college they don't like go in detail and teach you everything. They do expect you to learn it yourself. That's what I actually do right now. Like mostly I learn everything myself, and there they just go for whatchamacallit, get the degrees, guys. Okay, okay, YouTube tutorials. Honestly, YouTube tutorials are pretty good as well. Although the way I learn the best is by doing a lot of practice questions. I feel like everyone have their different ways to actually prefer learning. Okay, that's it. Let's go with something like my enemy class with 2 colons, and then I'll go here as well. So enemy 2 colons. Okay, perfect. So these are my static methods. What are they called, static methods? Let's go all the way up. Okay, no, static members belong in the class. Not using those makes it. Okay, so that is a static member now. Okay, and then outside my class, I should go with something like integer. And then what was the next thing? Okay, I had to go with something like integer and then call my enemy count again. So I'll go with something like from my enemy class. I want to call my enemy count. There we go. Okay, and then I'll set that equal to 0, ending with a semicolon. Which I'm confused about which specialization to choose between AI slash machine learning, cybersecurity, networking, and cloud computing, web development. Which field do you think has the most growth and opportunities? Honestly, I would like actually recommend either like to start like for just the money, I would go with cybersecurity. Although guys, you guys could like fact check me because I did hear that cybersecurity is actually a pretty demanding job because like a lot of businesses do get cyber attacks, so they're always required. Although I would recommend you to actually explore like different categories and see which you enjoy the most, because like it would be pretty hard to do something that you didn't enjoy the most when it comes to programming, where you got to sit and program for hours. So if you didn't like something, it would be pretty bad. Where you from? Honestly, I used to say that a lot. That's why many of you guys did say me to avoid saying where I'm from. Kid means scope resolution operator. After this stream, learn about them. Honestly, okay, I could actually look at that. Question: if you want to learn game programming, what would you suggest? If you don't know, that's fine. If I want to learn game programming, honestly, I would like recommend starting with C++ because like many of you guys did say me that actually, many of you guys did recommend me to learn C++ for like software developments. That said, I did like see few people make games using STL. It's more like Pygame. The way Pygame works in Python, where you create a display and everything. I haven't like started SDL yet. That's it. I am pretty excited to start SDL soon. I might stream myself when I do that. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and Control S to save the code and run the command. Let's see what happens. Ta. Okay, is it gonna display something? So it says total number 3. There are 3 alive. There are 3 alive. Okay, although the Destructor isn't working. Howdy Siddhartha, I appreciate you joining the stream. You should start with a game engine before creating a game engine, as you will have a lot of knowledge related to game development. Mostly making a game engine is to know about optimizations. Oh, I see. Honestly, I didn't actually wanna whatchamacallit, be a software engineer. That's it. I did wanna like get a minor in software engineering. Mostly I did wanna whatchamacallit. Already mic testing. Guys, my OBS actually crashed. Okay, that's it. Let me go to my gameplay screen. There we go. That should restart OBS stream lag. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. Although I'm really close to getting an actual PC, I might actually get the parts like in 2 days. That I would like, either stream myself or like record myself making that. Because the mini PC that I use right now isn't like nearly as strong. That said, let's go ahead and paste this here. Bro, big fan. I love cybersecurity, but hate university because I have entrepreneurial goal stand. It ruins for. Oh, I see. It ruins for. Your question is that can I become a presenter within 1 year doing courses through Coursera? Honestly, I'd say like 1 year is actually a long time. So like we could like actually learn a lot in a year if we're like dedicated and like work every single day, because 365 days is a lot, guys, actually. Okay, that said, now this is much better, people. You finally got rid of the manual destruction calls and correctly used enemy count instead of this enemy. A few notes to polish your warrior instinct: static methods and members. You're calling show count of an object. So e1.showCount, it works, but it's better style to call static methods through the class itself. Okay, so enemy.showCount, because static methods exist at the class level, not per object. Oh, I see what class levels and object level means now. Okay, that actually makes sense. Your destructor is perfect now. It decrements the count automatically when object goes out of scope. No need to touch it manually. Optimal enhancements show the creation and destruction of messages to visual flow. Okay, and then I had to add something like enemy destroyed. I see. Okay, the gold. This is gold for debugging. If you understand all this now, people, I can craft an instructional based question that mixes static methods, destructors, vectors, and loops, so you can really prove you've mastered this battlefield. Honestly, that does make sense. So let's say something like, yes, sensei, I love this content. I appreciate you, Shonen. That actually means the world to me. I hope you do programming. I hope you do programming other than on stream, because the stream chat is distracting and is hampering your flow. Honestly, that does make sense. That's it. The only time I do program these days is like when I stream, because like off stream I do study for my college stuff the entire day, because I do have like an exam almost every other day. That said, our people, listen closely. Here's your instructional based mission. Is going to test your mastery of static members, destructors, vectors, loops, and classes all at once. Mission: Monster Army Tracker. Okay, so create a class called Monster with these properties. So I got to create a private data member called name, a private data member called health, which is going to be an integer, a private static, okay, integer data member called monster count, tracks how many monsters are alive. Okay, bro, didn't get what the minimum amount of time needed to become a penster through courses. Oh, I see. Okay, oh may this is inspiring. Did not think of 100 days of C++. Are you using only ChatGPT for learning, or do you have recommended resources aside from Fortune Strostup? Honestly, I haven't like heard. Did I even pronounce it wrong? Did I even pronounce it right? Is it pronounced as something like Barjane Strostrup? Guys, I think I'm awful at pronunciations. That said, yeah, I do just use ChatGPT slash Sensei to study this. Okay, which OS do you use? Which operating system? Honestly, by operating system, do you guys mean like what am I using to code? Because I do use VS Code. Hiding Linux, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Next up, I gotta create a constructor that takes a name and health, okay? And then that takes name and health as parameters, increments monster count, prints monster name created, destructor decrements monster count, prints monster name destroyed, static method show counts, okay, monsters alive, public method takes damage, integer damage reduces health by damage. If health is less than or equal to 0, destroy the monster, the left destructor handles the counts. Okay. Integer main, create a standard vector called monsters. Okay, I gotta create a standard vector which only consists of the objects inside of my monster class to hold all monsters. Okay. Use a loop to let the user add monsters, ask for their name and health until they type done. Okay, hello Bojit. Okay, Bajran Shropson, is that how I pronounce it, is creator of C++. Oh, okay, guys, I should have actually known that. I didn't want to be any disrespect to the C++ creator. I didn't like hear about him, but I'm like really awful at name pronunciations. That said, oh, I see the cursor. Bye. I don't eat from Minecraft. Okay. Let's see, next up, I gotta create a main function, and then I gotta ask a loop to add monsters, ask for their name and health until they don't type done. Print the current monster count after each addition. After creation, loop through the vector and apply damage to each monster. You can choose a fixed number like 50, print monster count after applying damage goals. Properly use static members, constructors, destructors, vectors, and loops. Show the monster count updating automatically as monsters are created and destroyed. Pupil, write this code. I want to see you truly master static members and destructors. Okay, in Barney's Trust, it is Barney's Trust Stroke. Barney's Trust Stroke? Is that how you pronounce it? Okay, you know Tamil. Honestly, guys, I'm actually pretty bad at all. At like multiple languages. I think I know like 3 languages at max. That's it. I'm not that fluent in Spanish as well. Although I do want to eventually learn different languages. Question: what is this for the project? Honestly, whatchamacallit, I am learning this for my like programming for 258 series, where the goal by the end of that series is to make a game in general which consists of AI logic in it. And since I thought that I was making a game, I thought that C++ is the best language to make games, so I thought might as well learn C++. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and hit Control and delete everything. That said, let's go ahead and read the instructions. So it says create a monster class. Although before I do create a monster class, let me start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. And then let's go ahead and create a class called monster. So I'll go with something like monster. Did I spell it correct? There we go. Okay, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Then inside of my monster class, I gotta create 3 private data members. So let's go with something like private. Guys, subscribe to him. I appreciate your show. Okay, so I'll go with something like private, add a colon, and then let me go ahead and create 3 data members. The first private data member is gonna be a standard string. of name ending with a semicolon. The second data member is going to be a integer of health ending with a semicolon as well. And the third private data member is going to be a static integer data member called monster count. So let's go with something like static. Okay, so static integer called something like monster count ending with a semicolon. Okay, he's not denying. Okay, he's not denying about pooping in the streets, guys. I actually don't. That said, you should add V keystrokes to your VS codes. It makes programming much easier. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't think anybody cares. Neither. Okay, let's see. You should try Unreal Engine because it uses C++ for the programming language, and you can adapt to C# and work with Unity also. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. I was actually planning to start with Unreal Engine, but many of you guys did recommend me before going to Unreal Engine. You guys did say me to actually learn SDL. So I was like, actually SDL does make sense. I love everything about computer, websites, games, cybersecurity, AI/machine learning. I can do tasks in any area. Given growth and opportunities, which path should I focus on first? Honestly, it actually depends, because some people, they prefer making games more than they prefer creating AIs, or some people prefer AIs more than they like networking or cybersecurity. I would recommend to explore different areas and see which you actually enjoy the most. Once you do enjoy something, then you can actually work more in that specific area to actually be proficient in it. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and let's publicize my whole class now. Okay, next up it says create a constructor that takes a name and health. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a constructor. Maybe I could add a comment that says constructor. There we go. Okay, for my constructor, I'm going to create a constructor for my monster class. I'll go with the row of parentheses. My monster class, have you got into your GitHub student pack already? Honestly, I actually did install GitHub. That's it. I haven't figured out how to use it because after stream I am really busy, and I honestly, maybe after my after my college gets over, I actually might work on GitHub and my channel a bit more. That's it. Thank you so much for the advice. Honestly, you're welcome, amen. Okay, next up, my monster constructor is going to be having two parameters. The first is going to be name, and the second is going to be health. Okay, even know where he has to. Okay, next up, I'm going to be going with something like a pair of curly braces. Okay, and this is going to be a standard string of name. Okay, and a integer of health data member, actually parameter. Okay, now inside my constructor, it takes two parameters, increment monster count. Although before I do increment monster count, let's go ahead and initialize my parameters. So I'll go with something like this name data member equals to my name parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, which class are you in? Honestly, I did start college. I am a freshman in college. Okay, that said, sir, this is Indian tech support. Honestly, no, I'm just actually trying to learn C++. That said, next up, I'll go with something like this health data member equals to my... Actually, this health data member equals to my health parameter, ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then it says increment monster count, so I gotta increase my monster count by 1. So let's go with something like my monster count data member is going to increase by 1, ending with a semicolon. And then maybe I could add a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like monster created with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, guys, he's close to his goal. Please subscribe. I appreciate you, show. Okay, can you show your progress? Honestly, if I were to run the command, nothing would actually show because I'm just creating my class right now. I do gotta create my main function as well. That's it. I am almost done. Okay, next up, it says to create a destructor, so monster name created. Okay, maybe instead of going with something like monster created, I could go with something like monster, another insertion operator, my name data member with another insertion operator. So monster, that's monster name, and then I'll go with something like created with a / new line. Okay, next up, for my destructor, let's go ahead and add a comment that says destructor. Okay, what are you making? Honestly, I am learning about static methods in C++. That said, hey, did you learn Python first, or is this your first language? Honestly, I did learn Python first. I do have I think about 100 live streams on Python in my channel. That's it, because I did have a Python for 100 series. Why don't you use using namespace std? The reason I actually don't use using namespace std is because many of you guys did say me in bigger projects, not prefixing with standard could cause name conflicts. That's it. Let's go with the destructor. Okay, for my Destructor, I'm going to be creating a monster class with a Tadel operator. Was it called Tadel? I forgot. What are you making? Honestly, I'm just making I'm actually making a structural based project that increases my objects every time I create an object. It actually increases my monster count every time I create an object. And I am actually creating it using a constructor and a destructor, guys. Okay, he's making ESP. Oh, I see. Okay, tilde. Okay, that actually makes sense. I should write it down somewhere. Okay, maybe I go ahead and create something like enemy. Actually, monster. There we go. Okay, monster class with a pair of curly braces. This is going to be called tilde, so I'll go with something like tilde. There we go. Okay, stay hydrated. Honestly, I actually forget to drink water. Wait, can you see my comments? Honestly, I can see a comment. Okay, are you making a game? Honestly, I'm not making a game just yet. That's it. I am learning the basics to make a game. Okay, next up, for my monster class, let's go ahead and decrement something. Although I could go with something like my monster count. Data member is going to decrease by 1, ending with a semicolon. Then I add a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like a monster. Okay, with a space, I'll go with another insertion operator of my monster name. With another insertion operator, this is going to say something like destroyed. There we go, with a / new line, ending with a semicolon. Do you work? Honestly, no, I don't actually work. That said, I like how you stay on it. I like how you say honestly before every answer. Honestly, guys, I don't know actually. Many of you guys did say me to stop saying honestly. I actually feel like I should try that. Okay, that said, I decrement stop saying monster name destroyed. Okay, and then I gotta create a static method called show count. So let's go ahead and create a static void method. So I'll go with a static void method. Yeah, I'm currently second year in university for computer science, and I can't even code. ChatGPT has ruined me. It's too late to learn properly like you. Honestly, guys, I wouldn't say like it's too late, because like if you guys actually do start from scratch again, like from the very basics, I feel like it would be like it wouldn't take that long to like make it up. Maybe it would take like 5 months of like programming every single day, because I feel like 5 months is like a lot of time as well. Okay, that said, let's go with something like monster count. So honestly, show count. So I'll go with something like show count, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Nvim beta. Honestly, I mean, if you guys did say me to try Nvim as well, I should actually try it. Okay, you can learn whenever. That actually does make sense. Your communication and language will improve faster than your C++ skills. Even I'm unable to speak such perfect English for more than 10 minutes. I actually appreciate you, STD. That actually means the world to me, guys. Okay, next up, let's see. So it's a static method called showCount that prints monster alive and my monster count. So I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator that is going to say something like monsters alive. Actually, in a pair of double quotes, I'll go with something like monsters alive. Okay, and then I'll go with another insertion operator that prints my monster count data member with another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Next up, I gotta create a public method called take damage with a parameter of integer. Okay, so it is a public method. So I publicalize everything. It's technically considered to be a public method. So let's go ahead and create a public method called take damage. I'll go with something like a void method called take damage and then a pair of parentheses that has a integer parameter, okay, that takes a parameter of damage, which is going to be an integer, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Then inside of my take damage method, I'm going to be reducing my health data member by my damage parameter. So let's go with something like my health data member is gonna decrease by my damage parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Next up, if my health is less than or equal to 0, destroy the monster, let the destructor handle the count. Okay, so I'll go with something like if, a pair of parentheses, let's say something like if my health data member is either less than or equal to 0, I'm gonna do something. Okay, maybe should I like call my destructor method here? Okay, should I like go with something like a tilde? Okay, should I go with something like a tilde monster? There we go. Tilde monster. Add a pair of parentheses. I don't think that's how it works. But I want to become an AI developer, and I'm 15 years old. I want to achieve something big in my life by seeing you motivates me. Honestly, that does mean the world to me. Honestly, that is pretty good. Like, if you guys start like learning once you're young, you guys have like a lot of time. I should actually, call it? I was actually planning to create separate tutorial videos as well. Although I do recommend you guys to actually teach while you guys learn. I mean, everyone does have like different ways to actually I prefer learning stuff faster. Okay, that's it. The way I actually learn stuff faster is by teaching, because like if you can teach something, that means you understand it. So I would like recommend that. Although that is like a pretty good dream. Why are you recommending a person who's just 35 days into NVIM, brother? The benefits of NVIM provides can only be fully used by an experienced programmer is just a necessary learning curve. Oh, I see. Okay, do you JNIV about destructor overloading? Honestly, I haven't like heard about destructor overloading. That's it. I did like learn about constructor overloading. Okay, start with Python. Honestly, I did like have like Python for 100 series, but I did like stream myself learning Python every single day. That said, how do I like add a destructor here? What are you coding, brother? Honestly, I'm actually working on the static methods in C++. It is like a content in the object-oriented programming section. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Inside of my main function, let's go ahead and create a standard vector, okay, which only consists of my monster's objects. And since I am working with vectors, might as well let's include vector as well. So let's go ahead. Having Chavi, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. STDVD, at least he have 35 days of experience. You don't even have. Okay, bro, I have problem with my CSS. Honestly, CSS does sound pretty fun. I should actually someday try that. Okay, so let's go ahead and include a pair of anchor braces. I want to include vector. Okay, next up, inside of my main function, let's go ahead and create a standard vector which only consists of the object from my monster class. This vector is going to be called something like monsters, ending with a semicolon. Okay, coding a game. Honestly, I am like learning the basics to like code a game. I'm not like actually starting to code a game. Okay, why you sound zesty, guys? Actually, I get that like every single stream. Many of you guys do ask me, am I gay? Why do I sound zesty, guys? I'm actually not gay. I'm pretty straight. That said, use a loop. And guys, let me restart my stream real quick. Already mic testing. Okay, I think that should like fix the lag. That said, use a loop to let the user add monsters, ask them for health and name, okay, until they type done. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a loop. How are you doing, show? I appreciate you joining the stream. Already mic testing. My OBS actually crashed, guys. Okay, please don't read every comment and get distracted, bro. Honestly, that does make sense. I should like stop reading the comments. Give me a sec, guys. Let me get this question. Nah, bro, you're not zesty. Just eat well and go to the gym, guys. That actually makes sense. That's it. I don't have much time to like work out. I used to like be a brown belt in like kung fu, but then since I started my programming series, I didn't have much time. Okay, next up, let's see. Create a standard vector. Use a loop to let the user add monsters. Okay, so let's go ahead and use a while loop. So I'll go with something like while a pair of parentheses. Let's go with a while true loop. Okay, and then I'll add a pair of curly braces. So while my loop is true, I'm going to go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that is going to say something like enter a monster name. I'll ask the user for a monster name ending with a semicolon. That monster name is going to be inside a variable here called name. Actually, I'll go with a standard string of the name. There we go, ending with a semicolon. And then I'll go with the integer of health as well, ending with a semicolon. Just disable the comments. Okay, honestly, I do keep the comments on because I do actually, you guys do like help me sometime when I'm actually struggling in like programming. So can you tell a little about how you get into learning English and programming? Honestly, I'd say like I didn't like actually learn English. I've been around people who like actually speak English, so like I am kind of fluent in it. That said, I do actually got to learn different languages, guys. I did try learning Spanish as well. The only thing I do know is like hola, ¿cómo estás? That means hi, how are you? And then bien y tú, which means good and you. Guys, I should actually learn more. Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like a gay at all. People like to troll a hardworking kid, guys. That actually makes sense. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and add let's actually add a standard console input with an extraction operator. This is gonna extract my my name variable, or my name variable ending with a semicolon. And then I'll go with another standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna say something like enter a monster health. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and end that with a semicolon as well. And that said, let's go ahead and add a standard console input with an extraction operator that extracts my health variable ending with a semicolon. Okay, now that I've got values for these variables, let's go ahead and push them inside of my vector. So I could go with something like my monsters is vector dot the push underscore back function. I want to push back something. Okay, I remember doing this yesterday. I should actually know how to do this. Maybe instead of going with my monsters as vector, I should go with my monsters as class, because I know that I gotta create a object. Maybe I go with something like monster, a pair of parentheses, name, and let's say health. There we go, I think that's correct. Ending with a semicolon. So that's how I push back a whole object inside of my monsters as vector. Bruh, I didn't mean to piss all of you. Oh, I didn't mean to piss all of you. Was genuine question. Oh, I see. Okay, it was a genuine question. Okay, how was he starting off the YouTube? Honestly, guys, it was pretty awkward when I first started. Because, like, guys, if you guys go ahead and, like, see my first ever stream on my channel, see the comment that I got after 38 seconds, guys. That was such a motivating comment, guys. I was being sarcastic when I said that, though. Although that comment was, like, pretty awkward. Okay, you could overload insertion operator for objects. Oh, I see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so after I create a monster object, if my ask is going to be equal to done, maybe I go ahead and create another standard console output, actually a standard string variable called ask. Okay, let's go with ask ending with a semicolon. After I ask the user for a monster name and a health, I'll say something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. Do you want to create, or let's say something like add another monster question mark? Okay, and this is gonna go inside a pair of double quotes. Let's go with something like question mark, and then let's go with a pair of parentheses that says done to exit. I'll go with something like done to exit. Okay, maybe I like do that. There we go, this looks much better. Done to exit. Okay, I feel that looks much better. So that says add another monster and hit done to exit. Okay, perfect. It should be lowercase d. Okay, and then let's go ahead and add a if statement. Let me go ahead and end that with a semicolon. Okay, okay, I do that. Maybe let's go ahead and copy this part and get that all the way here. Okay, maybe under my health. Okay, so after my user enters a name and health, I add that inside of my monsters as vector, and then I say, do you want to add another monster? And then I'll go with something like a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract my ask variable ending with a semicolon. Okay, this means, honestly guys, that's just like the first three alphabets of my name. We should support those kids. People are trolling thinking they can demotivate this. Guys, I actually don't get demotivated that easily. Okay, that said, what's your age? Honestly, I am 17. That said, I am going to turn 18 really soon. Kind of excited for my birthday. It's on January 5th. Okay, bro, that's the pick of 6 years since I've been programming. This feels like me in the initial phase. You should see code with Harry for C++. It helped me too. Ooh, that actually does make sense. He said 17,000 times. Okay, that said, let me go ahead and add an if statement now. So I'll go with something like if a pair of parentheses, if my ask variable equals to, let's go with something like done. I'm going to do something. Let's go ahead and break my loop ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. That's honestly pretty much it. Okay, let's read the next instruction. Print the current monster after each addition. Okay, print the current monster after adding them every single time. Okay, let's go with something like else. After adding them, okay, which means I could go under my health. So after adding my monster, maybe I go with something like a for loop. Okay, so I could go with something like for a pair of parentheses. Okay, let's go with, honestly, after every iteration, right? So maybe after my if statement. Okay, let's go with a for loop now. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. let's say for every integer of I which equals to 1, actually which equals to 0. Okay, let's say while my I is less than my monsters vector dot the size function, I want to increment my I by 1, so I'll go with I++. Why would you ask your kid such a question, bro? I'm 19 and my first language is C++. I don't know what to do for my career. Huh. Honestly, if you like do prefer software engineering, then I would actually recommend you to like push in C++ because like C++ is a pretty good language for actually game development. And I've heard that people do use C++ to make websites as well, guys. You guys could like fact check me. Okay, keep going, little bro. You're doing great things. I appreciate you, Cernius. Is that how you pronounce your name? Okay, let's see. So after I add a for loop, let me go ahead and replace that with a semicolon. And then maybe add a standard console output with an insertion operator. That is going to be printing my monsters. So I could go with something like, honestly, instead of a standard console output, let's just go with something like my monsters dot maybe my monsters is class, okay, dot the show status. Do I have a show status? Okay, it's called show count. After each loop, okay, monsters current count. So I gotta go with show count. So I'll go with something like monster dot show count. Or maybe I'll go with something like my monsters at index of I dot show count. I'll add a pair of parentheses to invoke the function ending with a semicolon. What about Golang after Java? Honestly, I did want to actually learn Golang in Java as well. I might learn Java before Golang. That's what I'm pretty excited for both. I honestly like your hard work. I appreciate you. Hell, is that how you pronounce your name? Okay, Viv, bro, don't try to pronounce names and insult yourself. Guys, that actually does make sense. I should actually stop pronouncing names. Okay, that said, I go with monster at index of I dot show count. This shows the current monster count. Maybe I go with a standard console output here with an insertion operator. Let's say something like current monster count. There we go, current monster count ending with a semicolon. And then I show my monster count. Once I'm done with that, after creation of loop through the vector, add a apply damage to each monster. You can choose a fixed number like 50. Okay, so after a creation loop through the vector, so I loop through my vector. Okay, and apply damage to each monster. I gotta apply damage to each monster. Okay, maybe I go with something like, let's say monsters at index of I dot the health. Okay, is going to decrease by 50, ending with a semicolon. I've started learning OCaml. Is that how you pronounce it? OCaml. It's weird programming language by far. Have you heard of it? Honestly, I haven't heard of it. What's it about? Is it like for like web development or like programming? I'm not programming. What you call it? Is it like to make games, websites, or like Rust is a programming language, but I don't know where it's used in which field. Honestly, I've heard like Rust is like used for like AIs, guys. You guys could like fact check me though, because like I did hear a few people like say that when if you want to be like an AI engineer to like learn Rust, so I assume that it's something related to AI. Okay, that said, monsters at index of I minus health. Should I go with something like minus equals to health? Huh. Yeah, how do I decrease it by 1? So that's my first monster. Okay, which is gonna have a name and a health. I decrease the health, so I'm pretty sure I don't gotta invoke it because it's not a function or a method. There we go. Sure, it says Python. Honestly, this is C++. Howdy, Suryansh, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, how do I subtract my monsters' health? What are you programming? Honestly, I am learning about static methods in C++. That said, let's see. So after creation, loop to the vector again and apply damage. Monster, you can choose a fixed number like 50. Print monster count after applying damage. So I can add damage like 50. Okay, let's see. I gotta add damage like 50, so this is my monster at index of I. This is my first monster. Okay, how do I add damage by 50? Maybe I add a comment here that says I don't know how to add damage by 50 dot dot dot. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and print my monster's current count as well. So I don't know, maybe I could go with another for loop. Let's go ahead and actually copy this for loop, like save some time. So I could like copy this and then paste it here. Okay, and then maybe just de-indent that. There we go. This is current monster count after taking damage, after damage. Okay, so that is going to be after damage. Let me go ahead and remove this comment from here. Okay, and this is before damage. So let's honestly, let's go ahead and copy this part. I might actually, might as well add my damage like right here. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and delete those extra spaces. Okay, this is before damage. Let's go with something like before damage. Okay, perfect. And then I got it to create a main function, the same main function. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and return 0 now. Okay, let's go ahead and health minus equals to 1. Is health a private channel by any chance? Honestly, it is. Wait, hold up. In that case, should I create like getters and setters? I think I should. Okay, hold up, guys. Let me actually create a getter slash setter. Okay, so firstly, let's go with something like setters. Maybe I go with like control C. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be my setters. Okay, for my setters, let's see. Let me go ahead and create a void method called, let's say something like set name. Okay, what are monsters? Are they some type of data sets? Honestly, they are like objects. Okay, so I'll go with something like void set name. My set name void method won't have any parameters. Although I will set something like this name, my name data member, equal to my name parameter, ending with a semicolon. Okay, let's go ahead and create a standard string of name. Let's go with something like standard string of name. There we go. Okay, perfect. And then let's go ahead and create one for our health as well. So I'll go with something like void set health. And then I'll add a pair of parentheses for my health void setter. Let's go ahead and change this to something like health. Maybe uppercase. There we go. Okay, my health data member will have a parameter of health. Then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. This time I'll add a if statement. So I'll go with something like if a pair of parentheses. And this is going to be an integer of health. So if my health parameter is greater than or equal to, actually is just greater than 0, I want to do something. I'm going to go ahead and set my this health data member to be equal to my health parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and add getters now. Okay, Dot, are you creating any games? Just started watching. Honestly, I'm not like creating a game. That's it. I am like working on the basics to like create one, because eventually, after like whatchamacallit, when it's time for my programming for 258 series, when that comes to an end, I will be making a game in general that consists of AI logic in it. Okay, that said, this is going to be my getters now. For my getters, I'm going to be creating a standard string of get name method, okay, which won't have any parameters, although it is going to return my, let's see, okay, let's go with something like my name data member, ending with a semicolon. And then I'll go ahead and create a getter for my health as well. So I'll go with something like integer of health. I'll add a pair of, okay, integer of get health would make more sense. Get health with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. I will be returning my health variable, ending with a semicolon, health data member. Alright, guys. Okay, sir, stop ignoring. Honestly, guys, I don't feel like I was ignoring. That said, OCaml is used in diverse domains including systems, programs, web development, financial services, and formal methods such as automated theorem providing probing and static methods and static analysis. Oh, I see. Honestly, that does sound pretty fun. Okay, that said, I did create my getters and setters. So in my in my method here, okay, where I go with something like damage, let's go with something like my monsters. I'll go with monster. Okay, honestly, let's go ahead and add my damage like up here. There we go. Okay, I'll go with something like my monsters as vector at index of I dot the health dot the get health getter. Okay, Okay, I'm gonna decrease it by 1, so I'll go with minus equals to 50, ending with a semicolon. Okay, maybe I don't go with parentheses to invoke the function. Okay, that doesn't work. Kinda girly? Guys, actually, I don't feel like I'm girly. What happened to your accent? Okay, yo bro, remember me from yesterday? Honestly, I do remember you. How are you doing? Equals, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Isn't return this health and getter? Return this health and getter. Should I like return something like this? Does this make sense? Return this health. That is my current health. Okay, let's try it with this as well. Because like this would make more sense. Okay, and then I go all the way down here, I pair of parentheses to invoke my function. Okay, it still doesn't work. Let's go ahead and return 0 real quick. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and return 0, ending with a semicolon. That's it. Go with the control C, copy that, get some /GPT here. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this. Okay, let me just get that all the way here. Okay, and then let's go ahead and paste this. Go with Shift Enter and say something like, let's say, I feel like I messed up a bit, question mark, because what should I call it? Let's see. I didn't know how to add damage to my objects from my vector. Okay, let's see. Listen people, you're close, but I can see exactly where your chaos is hiding. Let's tear this apart and fix it properly so you actually understand how to manipulate objects in a vector. Your mistake, method typo, take damage, you wrote it wrong. Also inside it, health minus damage, take damage, you wrote it wrong. This does nothing you need, okay? The health equals to, okay? Otherwise, the health never changes. That's why it feels like it's not working. And then updating health and main function to monsters at index of I.get health only returns copy of the integer. You cannot subtract it from it directly. You need a method like take damage integer that modifies the health internally, which is what we tried to do. Oh, I see. Okay, guys, actually, I feel like I was kind of stupid. I did create a take damage. Okay, so my health minus equals to okay, my health minus equals to my damage. If health is less than or equal to 0, did Conceptualizing say to do something? Okay, I don't do like anything. Okay, and then where do health dots get health? Okay, instead of going with get health, I'm gonna be going with something like monster1 dot the take damage. Actually, dot get health. Okay, dot the take damage. Okay, so I'll go with get health, add a parentheses to invoke the function. Dot take damage. Honestly, since I can't go with dot take damage, I might actually have to convert this to be an integer. Okay. Okay, so fix the typo in take damage. Okay, make it actually subtract if health is less than 0. Remove the monster, call monster directly, call monster show count directly, static instead of calling an object. Okay, I think I see. Hold up, guys. So basically that I call it manually like right here. Instead of calling it manually, instead of going with monster1.showCount, I might remove my entire for loop from here and just go with something like, let's say something like my monster class with the 2 colons of my monster count. Okay, this is going to be show count. Okay, and then I'll go with the pair of curly braces ending with a semicolon. And then once after my classes, once after I'm done, creating my monster class, I'm going to be going with something like integer static. Okay, I want to create a static integer, honestly. Okay, let's go with something like a static integer of, let's say something like my monster class is show count function. Excuse me, guys. Okay, take damage function has void data type, so you can't subtract. Oh, I see. Okay, just do monster at index of I don't take damage, right? Honestly, I could do that, although I do wanna use static methods. Okay, so I could do something like integer static. There we go. Does that work? of show count. Maybe I remove the static from here. Okay, so integer monster show count, is it spelled correct? Okay, so it is a static void. Okay, so monster show count, maybe I wouldn't need this in that case. Okay, so for my take damage, it is void if my health is less than or equal to 0. How do I call my destructor here? Okay, I'm gonna do something. What if I just go ahead and I don't think I should like break, because it's not a loop to break. That said, this is the monster's current count. That's before. I could do the same for after. Okay, so let's go with something like monster with 2 colons of the show count, method, ending with a semicolon. Okay, and honestly, before I go with the show count method, could I honestly go with something like monster? My monster class dot the, let's say, take damage. Okay, I can't do that. Honestly, let's go with something like take damage, add a pair of parentheses, and ending with a semicolon. Okay, I can't do that, so I might actually add a for loop here. So let's go with something like for a pair of parentheses. I'm gonna do something. Let's say for every integer of I which equals to 0, while my I is less than my monster's vector, dot the size function, I'm gonna do something. Let's go ahead and increment my I by 1. I'll go ahead and increment it by 1, and then add a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my for loop, I'm gonna do something. Let's go with something like my monsters as vector at index of I. Okay. Honestly, I can actually try the take damage, but I did want to like use the static this thing. Okay, let's actually see what Sensei said. Because honestly, I do think that the take damage function, doing it that way makes the most sense. So let's go like all the way up to the instructions. Okay, so it says public method take damage inside the make function, print the current monsters count after each addition. After creating a loop through the vector and applying damage to each monster. Okay, after creation, apply damage to each monster. So I gotta apply damage to each monster. I don't know, I could like try this. I'll go with take damage, add a pair of parentheses of 50, because this actually makes the most sense. Like, how would I like use a a static method to like actually see how much damage my monsters does have, if that made any sense, guys. Okay, print monster count after applying damage, did that. Okay, let's go with the control C to copy the control S to save the code and run the command. Let's see what happens. Okay, is this, I got a bunch of ASCIIs. ER monster count collect2.exe error I've returned 1 exit status. Okay, so return the exit status maybe because I didn't like get my static void show count outside my class. So I could go with something like integer of static the monster show count. So I'll go with something like my monster class. Okay, with 2 colons of show count. So let's go with show count. Add a pair of parentheses. It does give me an error. What if I remove my static? I still have that error. What if I just have monster show count? Okay, what if I just have a static monster show count? Huh, integer static. Is it like wrong? Did I like mess something up? Let me go like all the way up, like all the way up. Okay, and then I go with something like integer enemy. Oh, okay, hold up. In that case, let's go with something like integer of monster. Instead of invoking my function, I'll set that equal to 0. This is what I did last code. Okay, my show count is a void. Instead of being a void, I'll change that to be an integer. Okay. Okay, let's go with the control Z again. So for my void show count, this is my monster count. Wait, instead of going with show count, should I go with my monster count? Huh. My monster count data member. It is it is like private here, so maybe in my constructor, should I like initialize it or maybe add a getter or setter? I could like try adding it in a getter real quick. So let's go with something like a void set show count, so I'll go with something like set show count with a bit of parentheses. This is going to be having a data member of integer. That doesn't make sense though, honestly. Should I get this? Okay, since I did specifically say this should be a private data member, I could initialize it outside to be a setter and a getter. Why you declare static object, you haven't immediately set it. When you declare static objects, you have immediately set it. Oh, it doesn't matter even if it's in private in that case? Huh, okay, then outside I go with something like monster count. I don't think this would like work because... Wait, it does work apparently now. Okay, let's see, that is equal to 0. Okay, in that case, that should like fix almost everything. This is show count. Okay, instead of going with show count, what does show count return again? Show count returns my monster count. Okay, this should work then. Let's go with the control as to save the code and run the command. Let's see. Enter a monster name. I think that was the only issue. Let's go with something like goblin. Okay, enter a health for the monster. I want to enter 50 health for goblin. Okay, monster goblin created, monster goblin destroyed. Add another monster I want to add, so I'll go with something like yes. Current monster count 0, monster name I'll go with something like elf. Elf usually has 300 HP. Fact check me guys. Elf created, goblin destroyed, elf destroyed. -1. Well, maybe I need to add something here. Let's go with a comment that says I don't know what to add here, ... Okay, now let's go with a controller. Control C, copy that, give sensei/chatgpt here. Okay, and then let me go ahead and paste this, go with shift enter and say something like sensei. I feel like I almost got it, but I did mess up a little. Okay, and then maybe I drink some water because I am kind of dehydrated. Okay, next up. Let's see, people, yes, you're so close. It hurts me to see it hurt me to see you not crush this yet. Let's analyze the last piece of this puzzle so you can finally feel the power of static members and vectors together. The main problem, the take damage only reduces health, but it doesn't remove monster that die. The destructor only triggers automatically when an object is destroyed. Example, when removed from the vector. Right now, dead monsters are still in your vector, so monster count does not decrease as you want. You left this empty if health. I don't know what to add here. You can't safely call the destructor manually. You must remove the monster from the vector. Okay. Or design take damage to return a flag that indicates death. That means main, you remove the stuff. Okay, here's the ideal for the integer of I which equals to 0 while my I is less than my monster dot size. Okay, here a quick thing. I don't increment anything. Or I did, since I mean to increment here. I go with something like monster at index of I dot take damage. I want to take 50 damage. And then if my monster at index of I dot the get health is less than 0, monster dot erase. Okay, I can use the erase. Monster dot begin plus I removes monster and triggers destructor. Okay, else I increment I by 1. Only increment 1 if you didn't erase. I see. Don't depend on all your knowledge on ChatGPT. Honestly, I usually don't. That said, if like I don't understand the whole concept, I do use Sensei/ChatGPT to understand how it works, and I do get a lot of practice on my own as well. Okay, notice the I++ only happens if the monster survives, because erase shifts all elements down. If you blindly increment I, you skip a monster. You're so close, your vector plus static plus damage system is almost alive. You just need to implement this removal correctly. If you want, I can rewrite the while true loop. Honestly, no, I think I got it actually. That actually does make sense. Okay, that said, inside of my for loop here, after I don't actually increment it by I here. Instead, I do something else. Let's see. Okay, I go with the if statement. So for every integer of I which equals to 0, while my I is less than my monster dot size, I give my monster at index 2 50 damage, and then I check for something. If a pair of parentheses, if my monsters at index of I, if my monster at index of 0, okay, I is basically 0 because I didn't increment it by 1 just yet. Okay, let's say dot health dot the get health getter is less than or equal to 0. I'm going to do something. Let's go ahead and erase that monster from my vector. Yeah, you could be it could be smart to just take the fast base information from ChatGPT. Honestly, that does make sense. I usually do that. That said, I'll go with something like my monsters the vector dot the erase function. I want to erase something. Let's go with something like my monsters dot begin plus i's. So basically what this actually means is the begin function with a pair of parentheses. What are you doing? Are you creating a game? Honestly, I am learning about static methods in C++. That said, my end goal by the end of the programming for 250 series is to create a game. Although I am like learning the basics right now to create the game, if that made any sense. Okay, so basically what this means is if my monster dot get health, if my monster at index of zeros is health data member is either less than or equal to 0, that's when I remove that monster from my vector. So I go with monsters dot begin. The dot begin basically indicates to the first element inside of my vector plus I, which is basically the same as plus 0. So monster at index of 0 is removed, and then I'm going to increment my I by 1, ending with a semicolon. Here's the thing, was it else? I think it was else. I'll go with something like else. Else I plus plus, ending with a semicolon. Okay, so if my monster is removed, okay, else I incremented by 1. Okay, now this guy took my number 1 spot. Okay, what are you making? Honestly, I am learning about static methods in C++. That's it. Do you know about Lua language? Well, or you don't? Honestly, I have heard of the Lua language. I'm pretty sure people like the Roblox developers, like the Roblox regular community, they use Lua language to like make games. I have heard of that, but I haven't like tried it much. I did like try programming in Lua maybe for like a week or something, but then that was like I think like 3 or 4 years ago when I actually used to play Roblox a lot. But then I stopped actually playing it because I was like not much into programming. Instead, I was into making models because I used to like model a lot, make a lot of like sort designs, car designs. That said, I do feel like I enjoy programming much more now. Is it easy? Honestly, I would actually say it is pretty easy because if me 4 years ago could like actually get the basic hang of it in like 7 days, I think it's pretty easy. Okay, that said, honestly, the Lua language that I am talking about is like the one that's related to Roblox. I don't know if there's like a separate general Lua language as well. How much time take for me to get to learn it so well? Honestly, I'd say like repetition is like the key for like almost learning any programming language. So like it depends. If you like spend 10 hours a day, then like you could like learn the stuff even faster versus if you spend 5 hours a day. Okay, do you want emplace underscore back instead of push underscore back? Emplace, honestly, I haven't heard of the emplace function. I should actually look into that. That said, I enter a name for my monster, which is Goblin. Goblin has 50 health. Goblin was created, Goblin was destroyed. Let's go with something like elf. Okay. Okay, honestly, my bad. I should have typed yes here. That said, current monster 0. Current monster after damage is 0. Okay, is -1. I should not set that to be -1. Okay. Honestly, I might remove before damage stuff. Let's go ahead and remove this part. Can remove the monster count as well because I already have that. Okay, let's go with the controllers again. Okay, static remains until the life of the program you make. Oh wait, static remains until the life of program. If you make static functions, the variables inside the function remain, and you can increment these variables unlike normal function variables. Oh, I see. That actually makes sense. Okay, so let's go with something like elf. Elf has 300 HP. Okay, elf created, elf destroyed. Okay, I wanna add another monster. It says current monster alive 0. That should give my elf some more health, honestly. I'll go with something like Goblin. Okay, Goblin has 50 HP. Goblin created, Goblin destroyed. I want to create another monster. -2. Okay, let's go with something like High, and like High has 20 HP. Okay, this time I'll go with something like done. That ends my program, although I do feel something is still missing here. Okay, I don't wanna, the place where I said I don't want, you can't safely call it a structure, add a flag. I hope I can know about Lua, but it looks hard when I open Lua file. I found a lot of things, so a lot of things, so a lot of these things type manually or automatically. Is there a way to do it? Is there a, okay, there's no way he did it manually. Honestly, I feel like whatchamacallit, people could like, I mean, like, actually really good developers, they do use AI as well, but then whatchamacallit, they use AI to do like the simpler tasks, for example, the tedious tasks like create one thing that they already know how to create properly, although it is pretty tedious to do it, so they work on the more complex stuff and they say AI to do the easier stuff. That said, some of you guys are like, some people actually do use AI to do almost everything without understanding how it works. That's kind of bad, I feel like, because like there wouldn't be a point of learning if like we ask AI to do everything without understanding how it works. That's, I'll say something like, Sensei, I feel like I messed up, question mark. Okay, let's see. People, yes, you almost nailed it, but there's a tiny yet critical issue hiding in the plain sight. Okay, your method is called take damage, not take damage. Take DAMG. Oh, I had a typo. Guys, let me just charge my laptop real quick. There we go. Oh, okay, no wonder it wasn't working because I had a typo. It's fine because you matched the name, okay, but that name is misspelled later or someone else tries, it won't work. Always keep method names clear. Okay, then update the loop. Monsters don't take damage. Okay, yeah, it could be most of it AI and he completed 30%. Oh, I see. Okay, let's see. Although a thing with AIs is like when the code is actually pretty long, if you like say AI to like make a raw games code, there would be a lot of errors that would take like even longer to like debug, if that made any sense, guys. Okay, DAMAGE, so take damage. And then this is going to be take damage as well. Okay, would this like make a difference? I don't think it's going to make a difference. Although inside of my take damage, okay, health minus equals to damage. If health is less than 0, I'm gonna set my health equal to be 0, ending with a semicolon. Okay, let's go with the controllers to save the code and run the command. Let's see what happens. ChatGPT is gaslighting. I haven't read vectors yet. Honestly, vectors is pretty fun / easy to use as well. Okay, let's go with something like elf. I want to create a elf. There we go. Create a monster health. My monster health is going to be 300. Okay, elf created, elf destroyed. Why does it say elf destroyed as well? If I was programming, guys, I'll use AI to do fast, easy-based things of my project. That actually does make sense. That said, I'll go with something like yes, current monster. Monster alive 0. Okay, current monster count after dealing damage. Monsters created, monsters destroyed. Okay, let's go ahead and delete that part. Maybe instead of name, I'll go with something like my get name with a pair of parentheses to invoke the function. Okay, and then when I go with something like monsters created, okay, with a / new line, monsters alive. These are going to be my monster counts. Okay, this actually does look. It does look correct. I don't know. Oh, where am I messing up? Okay, he's rebuilding, rebuilding each time. There's no shame to use the smart save time. Honestly, that does make sense. Okay, let's go with the controllers again. If I were to run the command, let's go with something like elf. I want to create a elf. Okay, an elf has 300 HP. So it says elf created. Okay, and then I want to add another monster. And then create another monster. Current monster count after damage. Why does my monster get deleted like ASAP? Ain't that how C++ works? Okay, let's go with control A, control C, get Sensei. Okay, let me actually ask Sensei what is the output that I'm looking for. With control, go with a bunch of control C and say something like Sensei. I feel like I'm messing up because I don't know what output am I looking for. Can you tell me what output am I looking for, question mark? Okay guys, let's see what output am I looking for. People, listen carefully, you're not messing up, you just haven't fully visualized this program. what this program does yet. Let me break it down step by step. When you create a monster, the constructor runs it. Monster, it prints monster name created, increases monster count by 1. When you deal damage to the loop, okay, monster.take damage, each monster loses 50 HP. If a monster's health drops below 0, you erase it from the vector, else triggers the destructor, okay. After the damage loop, print, this shows the number of monsters alive. Okay, so the output you're looking for should look something like this. Okay, so monster created, monster name arc, health 70. What up? So wait, monster, this thing, monster created, and then monster name arc has 70 health. Okay, monster arc created, add another monster, done. Current monster count alive 1. Oh. Wait, don't I like get this? Hold up guys, I think I get that output. Let me run the code again. When you want your monster to die, honestly when his HP goes like, when his HP is less than or equal to 0, that's what I feel like I did it correct. I just didn't know what output I was looking for. Elf has 300 health. Okay, elf created. Do you wanna exit? No. Okay, monsters after damage, current monsters alive. Let's go with something like Goblin. Goblin has 40 HP. Okay, I'll go with something like done. Okay, when the loop ends, maybe I go with my monster count after my loop ends. So this is, do you want to add monsters? Okay, current monster count after taking damage. Okay, this is monster.show count. Okay, that's my monster count. Maybe I should like actually display my monster count. Should I go with something like monster count? There we go. Okay, that actually doesn't work. What if I remove that? Okay, maybe I go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that shows my monster count. Okay, actually my monster count is not a function to have a pair of parentheses. Okay, does that work? Huh. Okay, let's read this. So if my monster at index of I dot get health is less than or equal to 0, I erase my monster, okay, and then else I increment if my health is not less than 0. Okay, wait, I might go with something like greater than 0. No, if it's greater than 0, I wouldn't erase my monster. Okay, let's go with less than or equal to. Okay, if my monster's health is less than or equal to 0, I erase that monster. And then I add another monster. So let's go with something like I++. Okay, and instead of going with monster count, I'll go with something like my monster. Okay, this is going to be lowercase. Honestly, was it called count? I think it was called something like count. Show count. There we go. I'll add a pair of parentheses to invoke the function. Okay, now let me go ahead and remove something. So it looks like monster name. Add another monster. Monster alive. I think I should like remove my monster alive. Oh, okay, let's remove this. I just want to show my monster count. Just put I++ in the for line. Honestly, I could like add like I++ here. Honestly, that does actually make sense. I think you need to increment in a else statement. That actually does make sense. I did like add a else clause. Although I'm like thinking, so it says if my monsters at index of I dot get health, if my monster's current health is less than or equal to 0, I erase that monster, and only if the monster has been erased, I want to, whatchamacallit, increment it by 1. If it's not erased, I do want to increment it by 1. Okay, let's actually try that else one more time. Go with I++, ending with a semicolon. Okay, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens now. Okay, I think you need to increment in else. Okay, there's confusing things here about how constructors work. That is okay, that is messing with your static count. I think you can just print the monster.size. Oh, I see. I could actually try the monster.size. That said, my name is going to be something like Elf. Elf has 300 HP. Elf created. I don't want to exit yet. Monsters alive 0. Okay. Let's go with something like Goblin. Let's say Goblin has 500 HP. Okay, I'll go with no again. Monsters alive is -1. Okay, maybe when I increase a monster, once my monster take damage, so I go with my health dot take damage. Or should I go with something like this health dot take damage? I think they should be the same. Let's run the command again. Okay, why not just for const auto monster? Honestly, I should actually learn the auto as well. I did like work on the algorithms function. That's it. I haven't like gone in depth in auto. That said, I'll go with something like elf again. Elf has 300 HP. And then let's go ahead and not exit. I want to go with something like Goblin. Goblin has 400 HP. Okay, I don't want to exit. Monsters -1. Okay, let's go with the controller control C again. I actually might say something like, let's go ahead and paste it here. Go with Shift Enter and say something like, Sensei, I don't think, excuse me guys, that I'm getting it ... Can you show me how to solve this question ? Okay, let's see. That's it. Let me drink some water, guys. Actually, I feel like I'm pretty dehydrated, so thirsty. Okay, people, alright, listen carefully. You're so close, but you're not fully controlling the loop and you're not fully controlling the loop logic and printing. Let me guide you like a drill sergeant. So here's the goal of this program. Keep track of all monsters using a vector. Apply damage for each monster. After each addition, remove death monster from the vector. Use static members to always show how many monsters are alive. Print each creation message when a monster is added. Okay, problems in your code. You only call monster show count once per loop after damage. That's okay, but you also erase monsters without showing which one dies. Okay, which is confusing. You never print which monster was damaged or removed, makes it harder to follow. You modify the vector inside the same loop, which is fine, but the output can be confusing if you don't print it carefully. Here's how to do it right. So I create a private data members of name, integer health, and static integer of monster count. You should paste the output you're seeing to ChatGPT so it knows the issue. Oh, I see. To be honest, when using ChatGPT, I usually give the console output to give it more context, since GPT sometimes dumb. Honestly, that does make sense. I should actually try that. That said, so I go ahead and create a public class called monster. Actually, I had a constructor that has two parameters of name and health. I did that. I initialize them. I increment my monster by 1, and I said monster created. And then I even added a destructor that doesn't have any parameters. I just decrement monster count. Okay, and I say monster destroyed. And then I have a void method called take damage that has a parameter of DMG, which is an integer, and I subtract my health by my damage. And if my health is less than or equal to 0, my health is going to be equal to 0, so my health will never go to negatives. And then I go with something like integer get health that returns health, and then I go with something like a standard get name returns name. Okay, next up I go with a static void method of show count that shows my monster count. And then outside of my class, I go ahead and create a monster. Okay, my monster count, I set it to be 0. I did that as well. And then I create a main function. I create a vector, did that. I create a standard string of ask. I did that as well. Okay, and then a while loop. So I ask the user to enter a monster name and done to exist. Okay, if name equals to done, I break, else I ask for a health. Okay, monsters.push underscore back monster name, and then damage to all monsters by 50. So I add a index based for loop. How does that work? Your message is like your username. My message is like my username. I see. What's the issue? Honestly, whatchamacallit, I don't understand what output was I looking for. That's it. I feel like something is like kind of messed up. Okay, so for every integer of I which equals to 0, while my I is less than my monster.size, I do something, my monster takes damage, and then I add a if statement. Okay, so if my monster at index of I dot get health is less than or equal to 0, Unicode can do weird things. Oh, I see. Okay, so if my monster's health is either less than or equal to 0, I go with a static console output with an insertion operator that says monster at index of I dot gets name has died, and then I erase that monster. Okay, else, okay, thinking about it, okay, my else clause, there we go, okay, it's outside my if statement. I increment my I by 1, show your monster count. This goes outside of my else clause and outside of my for loop. Okay, although, wait, is it inside of my while loop? Okay, I think that could be where I'm messing. I didn't add mine inside of my while loop. Okay, let's get Sensei slash ChatGPT here real quick. That said, let me scroll all the way down. I think where I messed up was, okay, if statement. Okay, actually, never mind. I did add it inside of my while loop. Didn't we like do the same exact thing though? Okay, so show count, and then I add a else clause that increments it by 1. Okay, if monster dot get health is less than or equal to 0, I erase my monster. I did that as well. I just didn't print the text that says monster died, although I don't think that is that important. And then monsters at index of I dot take damage 50. Okay, I did that part correct as well. Okay. And then I push underscore back. Okay, maybe let's go ahead and copy these things. Let's go ahead and copy that part, delete it from here. Your while is true. Honestly, it is true. Hi bro, how are you doing, Jay? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, let's go ahead and paste that here, honestly. Wait, actually, let's go a little up. Okay, maybe under my if statement, I'm going to be pasting this. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and add a space here. There we go. Okay, so if my ask is set to done, I break, else I ask a monster name and a monster health, and I, push it inside of my vector. Okay, what should this while loop be, false? What should his while loop be, false? Okay, have you used 3D's Max software, bro? Honestly, I haven't tried that yet, but honestly, that sounds pretty fun though. Okay, for every integer of I which equals to 0 while my I is less than my monster dot size, I do that if my monster dot health. Honestly, maybe I'll just add a standard console output with an insertion operator to check if my monster died. I'll go with something like my get name, so I'll go with something like my get name method. Excuse me guys, maybe I'll go with something like my monsters at index of I dot the get name, okay, getter. Excuse me again guys, I'll go with another insertion operator. This is gonna say something like has died, so I'll go with something like has died exclamation with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Honestly, in that case, I feel like I did everything the same. I just had to change that one thing, but this wasn't even really important. Okay, what's this gay accent, guys? It's actually like a regular accent, I feel. Okay, that's it. If I were to save the code and run the command, it says add another monster to exit. I'll go with something like no, enter a monster name. I'll go with something like elf. Elf has 400 HP. Okay, elf created monsters alive 0. I'll go with something like goblin. Okay, enter a monster name. This is gonna be something like 50 HP. Oh, the monster name is 50. Okay, that should have been a string. Monster 50 created, 50 has died. Monsters alive -2. What game are you making? Honestly, I'm not like working on a game. That's it. I am working on like static methods. Okay, that's it. Let's go ahead and copy Sensei slash ChatGPT's code. Having alias, I appreciate you joining the stream. Isn't it pronounced as alias or like alias? Okay, I have a difficult help to ask, bro. Is this about Python? Can you please help me when you're free? Honestly, yeah, I do like have multiple streams on Python. I think I have like so many streams. That's it. You could like go through those streams because I did like cover almost a lot of topics in that stream. Okay, that's sad. What are you making? Honestly, I am learning the basics of static methods. That's it. Let's see if Sensei's code works. So I'll go with Control S to save the code and run the command. So I'll go with something like no. Okay, enter a monster health. I want to go with something. Oh, okay, wait, hold up. Let me run the code again. Okay, it says entry monster name done to exit. This is going to be called something like Elf. Elf has 400 HP. Elf created, Elf destroyed, monsters alive 0. Let's go with something like Goblin. Okay, Goblin has 400 HP. Okay, let's copy my whole output actually. Let's try that. Okay, I'll copy the output because this is exactly the same output that I got. Can I copy the output? Control C. Okay, yeah, might be pushback copying and then destructors calling both copies. Actually, that does make sense. My data body custom plugin for Blender. I see. Okay, let's get Sensei slash ChatGPT here. Bro, are you okay? Do you need food? Are you hungry? Why are you skinny, guys? I used to, guys. Honestly, whatchamacallit, I feel like I should start eating more because I feel like I eat way too less. Okay, actually, no, man, guys, I do eat a lot. I don't gain weight for some reason. Okay, what you gonna do after 100 days? You changing language or gonna start some projects? Honestly, my goal is like I was actually planning to whatchamacallit start learning SDL before my 100 days. Although if like 100 days wasn't enough for me learning the basics, I might just create like another series where I like continue this series if that made any sense. Although I will try my best to like complete all the C++ basics and then move on to like actually working with game engines after like this 100-day series. Okay, do you have health issues? Guys, honestly, I feel like I'm pretty perfect because like I do get myself checked. That said, let's go ahead and say something like, let's say, this is the output that I get. Is it normal question mark? Okay, let's see. No, people, this is completely wrong. That's why you feel something is off. Listen carefully because this is a classic trap. The reason you're seeing monster have destroyed immediately after creation is because of this line in your original code. Push underscore back monster health creates a temporary object when you push it into the vector. The vector copies it, invoking copy constructor if present, and then the temporary is destroyed immediately. That's why you see monster health destroyed right away. The monster count decrements because the destructor of the temporary object runs even though your monster is in the vector. Okay, even though the monster is still in the vector. Okay, that also explains why the count goes negative. Okay, how to fix emplace back. Okay, I haven't learned about the emplace back. So monsters dot emplace back name and health. Let's try that. Okay, he looks normal, bro. What, try emplace back? Honestly, I haven't like learned of the emplace back function. I might ask what does it mean /do. Okay, so let's go with something like emplace underscore back. I'll remove my monster class. Let's go ahead and go with the control C. Maybe remove this extra pair of parentheses. Okay, now for it, control S to save the code and run the command. Let's see what happens. I think there's worm in your stomach. Guys, I have a huge phobia when it comes to bugs. That said, but ding ding, huh? Okay, people just hating because they jealous. Loudest people be the weakest. Okay, yo, that's what I said, haha. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and hit something like maybe Elf. Elf has 400 HP. Okay, monsters alive 1. There we go. What's the difference between push underscore back and emplace underscore back? Okay, pushback adds an element to the end of my vector. I'll go with something like Goblin now. Goblin has something like 20 HP. Okay, monsters alive 0. Goblin has died. Maybe I'll go with something like Elf again, 500 HP, and Goblin. Okay, Goblin has 500 HP as well. Monsters alive 1 and monsters alive 0. It's just between 1 and 0. I don't get more numbers. Let's hit done. Okay, let me go ahead and copy that. Get Sensei slash ChatGPT here again. I love this kid because he's cute. Respond to anyone not selfish. Honestly, guys, that does make sense. Copying, moving, constructors, destructing, and virtual stuff is pretty weird, but important to understand. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. I should actually spend more time understanding this stuff. That's it. Let's go ahead and paste this. Go with shift enter and say something like, let's say, after adding the emplace underscore back function, this is what output I get. This is what output I get dot dot dot. That said, my monsters alive is either 1 or 0 dot dot dot. That said, I haven't learned about the emplace underscore back function is well dot dot dot. So can you explain both of them to me? Question mark. Okay, let's see. Yo, what's up, boy grind? Yo, what's up, boy grinding hard? Let's go. Hiding Zenus, I appreciate you joining the stream. And placeback creates it in place in the vector, calls the constructor on the memory in the vector. Oh, I see. Okay. Alright, people, listen closely. Your height is 5'6" and your age is 16. Am I correct? Honestly, I am 5'6", although I am 17. That's it. I am going to be 18 real soon, guys. Kind of excited for that. That's it. I gotta like grow my height. I'm actually 5'6.5", not like 5'6". That said, alright, people, listen closely because this is a critical C++ lesson. I can feel the frustration in your output. Let's untangle this mess step by step. The push underscore back problem. So when you do monster.push underscore back, the monster name health, here's what happens under the hood. Monster name creates a temporary monster object, pushes back. Push underscore back copies that temporary into the vector. The temporary is destroyed immediately, calling the destructor. Okay, that's why you see monster elf destroyed right after creation. Even though it is a vector, it isn't a vector. Okay, your monster count goes wrong because the destructor of the temporary decreases the static console out or the static count. Even though the monster in the vector still exists, the emplace solution, emplace underscore back, allows you to construct the object directly in the vector's memory, skipping the temporary memory. I think I see monster.emplace underscore back name health. No temporary object is created, no extra constructor slash copy or destructor runs. Memory count now properly tracks the monsters. Okay, key difference between pushback. Okay, why your monster life count was 1 or 0? Even after using emplace underscore back, you still saw 1 or 0 because of how you handle damage. Any monster that reaches 0 health is erased immediately. That triggers the destructor, reducing monster count. So, depending on your inputs, you may see only 1 or 0 alive, which is correct. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, I went from the oh you're cooked, bro. If your growth stopped at 17, guys. I went from 5'7" to 5'9" between 17 and 18 in 4 months. Guys, I feel like I should actually grow taller as well. Don't worry, bro. I stopped growing like at 15 or 16, guys. That makes me feel so much better. Shortcakes are tough, guys. That actually does make sense. I think I'm still growing, I hope. Actually, I do hope, like, I do want to, like, grow a bit more. That said, maybe after my programming series, I might actually start hitting the gym, guys. Okay, you cooked. Okay, if you want, I can rewrite your monster game fully to the... Okay, honestly, I feel it... Okay, if I did expect outputs to be 1 or 0, I think this does make sense. That said, I do have some college work, so I actually might end the stream right now because, like, I do got, like, a lot of assignments, homeworks, and an exam coming up. Okay, that said, let me say something like, let's say, I did want to work longer, although I do have a lot of assignments due and also a exam soon. So I actually might end the stream right now, although I do understand how static methods work in C++. That said, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers before I end the stream? Question mark. Okay, let's see. I think our max height is 5'7". I'm Danish, so I get cheat codes. DNA, most people know. Okay, most people I know are on my height. I'm just 6 and I turned 17. That actually sounds pretty cool. Okay, listen up, Warriors of Code. You saw static methods in action today. You saw counting monsters, destruction, and the raw power of class level magic. Remember, the C++ will break you if you think small, but it will make you a master if you think big. Don't just copy for today. Okay, don't just coding for today. Is that phrased correctly? Don't just coding for today. Every line you write is a step towards domination. This language, okay, towards this language. Fail, break, and rise stronger. Your future self will thank you, or cry if you're lazy today. Now go crush those assignments and exam. People will fight the next battle of static members and class level powers next stream. Remember, a master is not born, they're coded. Okay, go kill those tasks and return victorious. Okay, okay, you're good. Yeah, metric is better. Okay, naughty country is better. Okay, that's it. Let me go to my main camera. maybe go to the center of my screen. There we go. Alright guys, so basically that was pretty much it for the stream. I honestly did want to stream longer. That said, I do have like a lot of assignments due tonight. It is probably due like in 6 hours because it's like 4 o'clock right now. That said, if you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like helps with my algorithm, sharing makes you smile, and subscribing is like a cherry on top. And guys, I'm really close to getting the PC. I have been saying that for like 12 or 13 streams now. That said, my parts are actually real close to coming. Once I do get the parts, I will like actually record myself or stream myself building the PC. That said, once I do actually get an actually a good working PC, and that will like, oh my gosh, once I do like build that PC, it will fix all my stream lag. And once my stream lag is kind of fixed, I will start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, maybe TikTok and Instagram as well if I did meet the subscriber requirement or the followers requirement. So if you guys do enjoy my content, don't forget to follow me there. That's it. Also join the Discord server. The link is in the description, and you guys can get access to the Discord server or any of my socials by typing exclamation out the socials' name, all lowercase, no space. That's it. I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace. Okay, for stream, okay, tomorrow. I appreciate you, Bob. I'll catch you next stream. Okay, you have talent of speak. No much people gave it average time to start stream. What time? Honestly, I do start stream like exactly 2 hours from now. Although in the weekends, I start stream like even sooner because like I have much time and like I don't gotta go to college. Usually, I do like mention everyone in my Discord server after I start streaming. Okay, that's it.